All right.
All right.
All right. Welcome to the second official episode of the PSBS. That is the PlayStation Bull Session. I am your host, Cote PSN bayouboyz, and my co-host here is...
Andrew Arenas, doublies.
Yep. And before we get started today going into the news, I just want to do a quick thank you shout out to Chandler Deani Wood at Morningwood, the video series through PlayStationLifestyle.net. They did an episode last week. I emailed them asking for like advice and stuff on like, people starting out with podcasts, and they did a really great episode giving some good advice, and they mentioned the podcast. And I just want to thank them for that. Again, that's Morningwood through PlayStationLifestyle.net. They do it's a video series they do every Saturday morning. So check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on PlayStationLifestyle.net is the main website they do it through. So check that out. They really helped us out last week. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, yeah, okay. So now we go into the news. So I got a couple items here. Some good stuff this week.
How many total items do we have?
I got 8 written down right here.
Okay. Oh, that's a
now,
lot
whether
more
we
than
get,
I expected.
Yeah, I mean, whether we get through them all or not, that's to be seen, because some of these are kind of long. A couple of these are long.
Maybe kind of go by relevancy.
Yeah, I'm going to go by length. Yeah, by relevance, because one in particular is really long. I'm going to say that one for last.
Yes.
Okay, first item I got written down here is, oddly enough, the PSP got a 6.61 update this week.
There is an update to the PSP after so many years. Well, I mean, there's still games being released for the PSP, so okay, what does this add or take away?
Yeah, like the PSP hasn't received an update since 2011, so that's what makes this kind of funny, is that it's been since 2011 since we got an update, and it's 6.61. It adds, you guessed it, stability to the PSP.
And, you can't have a software update without stability.
Yeah, and it's a mandatory update. You have to download it if you want to connect your PSP online to the PlayStation Store or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's just funny to think that, it's been since 2011 since an update. So, like, some guy at Sony was just sitting there the past, 4 years thinking, you know what, that PSP is just not stable enough.
Yeah.
You gotta increase that stability.
And that was all it added?
Yeah, that was it.
It didn't strip away any features that maybe the PSP had that was online, because, I mean, it's probably a barren wasteland in terms of the amount of people online on games.
I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are saying in the comments it's probably just an extra measure against piracy, maybe. But you would think by this point Sony wouldn't care anymore.
Yeah, because, I mean, the PSP's already hacked to death, so...
Yeah, I mean, you just think they wouldn't care anymore. But
yeah.
I don't know. But it's there. There's a new PSP update.
For those still playing their PSPs.
Oh, yeah, if you want to play, Peace Walker Online, or... what's another popular online PSP game?
Hot Shots
Monster
Golf?
Hunter. Hot Shots Golf, yeah, online, or Monster Hunter Online, or something like that. You gotta download that firmware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what else we got? A couple of release date announcements.
Yes.
A couple of them. One, this was kind of a little weird, and I'll explain. Amplitude, the reboot or whatever, Amplitude got delayed till summer 2015. Now, here's the weird thing about this. Okay, when they first announced they were doing Amplitude, they did the Kickstarter. They actually said the projected release date was summer 2015.
Yeah.
But once they reached their goal, they bumped it up to March of 2015. But now that we're getting close to March 2015, they bumped it back to summer. So really, it's almost not even a delay, because really it's still coming out in its initial projected release date.
Yeah, of what the Kickstarter promised, which is very good. I mean, thank goodness they didn't promise spring, or else the Kickstarter people will get angry. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Give them more time for it. Still is more to be seen from that game. I don't think there really hasn't been a preview in that game in a couple months, so that was kind of to be expected. Whatever Harmonix needs to get more time on this game for it to be as polished as it can be. I do I mean, even though, yes, it's a Kickstarter game, I am almost kind of thinking maybe it might be a free PlayStation Plus game, but that's doubtful. I've heard that from some people. But, no, this is a Kickstarter game. It would have to be, you would have to buy it. But, yeah, I'm happy it's coming soon. Just a little soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna buy it.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's coming. Oh, and the reason they kind of said the delay is because they wanted more time, because Harmonix said this is our first PS4 game. We want more time working with the the system and all that. So.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're getting their hands in there in the development of PS4 games and whatnot. So yeah, so that's one release date. Another thing that just got announced with the release date. This I'm actually pretty excited about. Surprisingly, I'm excited for it. Borderlands Collection is coming to PS4. On March 24th. The what they're calling it, the Handsome Jack Collection.
Yes.
And it doesn't come with Borderlands 1 though. It comes with Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel.
I'm not that hung over that.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem for me because the big thing is the reason, because I know I'm not a fan of remasters. You know, I'm usually like against them, but this one I'm really excited for because one, it comes with a whole game that I've never played. Yeah. You know, I never played the pre-sequel because it was only released on PS3 and 360 over the fall. So I finally get to play that. Plus, it comes with all the DLC for the pre-sequel, and it comes with all the DLC for Borderlands 2, and it comes with everything, like the big packs, the little packs, the character packs. Like it comes with every bit of DLC for Borderlands 2.
That's good.
Which is great. So I'm really excited. So basically, for $60, I'm buying a game that I never played, and then I'm getting all this extra stuff on top of it. All the Borderlands 2 DLC, all the pre-sequel DLC. Plus, the best thing too is they said it will be cross-save across all three, like PS3, Vita, and PS4. It's gonna be, your save is going to go across all three platforms. So if you've already played Borderlands 2 on PS3 or Vita, that will instantly carry over to PS4, and it will carry back and all that. So
that's a big question mark. Then separate trophy list or not? Because Vita and PS3 were not separate, so I have a feeling that probably Borderlands 2 is not going to be separate on PS4.
No, probably not. Yeah. It's probably going to be combined.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I mean, at least you still get the DLC trophies.
Yeah, because I was wondering about Vita connectivity with the Borderlands 2 still, because, you know, there's still the Vita version. Yeah, this is pretty neat. Yeah. And then you also missed the big collector's edition for it.
Oh yeah, the big collector's edition.
There's a very limited collector's edition for it, which is really cool.
It's Claptrap in a box. I didn't write that down. How much is that? Is that $300 or $400?
$400. So you can buy yourself another PS4 or whatever you have for that much. But it does look pretty neat and looks like a hot item that you could maybe possibly buy and then resell on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little RC Claptrap with a it actually has a gyro in it, so it can bounce on one wheel. So it actually drives on one wheel. Plus, it has a camera in the eye that allows you to live view.
Yeah, you could probably do all sorts of things with that.
One thing that's really weird is for the price. But the weird thing is for the price you're paying, though, it doesn't come with an actual remote for it. You have to download an app. Like,
oh yeah, I mean we've seen that you're paying a lot of things. It's like a Brookstone product. You just download an app to control it.
I know, but I still feel like, you know, for that price, you should at least get a dedicated controller for it.
Hey, it's better than not getting the game. Like some collector's editions. Looking at you, Wolfenstein: The New Order. At least it comes with the game.
Yeah.
Forza, but that was like a special, very special.
Well,
edition,
I mean, that was kind of like. I mean, that was kind of like Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, it was weird. Like, when you get that thing in the mail, the Collector's Edition, the Inquisitor Edition, like, the game is outside of the big thing. It's, like, strapped to the top of it. So, like, basically, they just made a bunch of these boxes with no game. So they knew whatever version you would buy, it would just, like, they're just sticking on top. Like, here you go. I mean, you still bought it all at once, unlike Wolfenstein, where Wolfenstein was, buy this big box of stuff, and then buy your version of the game separately, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, with Dragon Age, it was just, you know, all at once. You had to buy them separate.
I am curious with this Borderlands re-release if you buy this digitally, if you can maybe like split it. If maybe you just want the pre-sequel, and then maybe you just split it off between the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2. Because that's what Saints Row did, and Metro Redux.
Yeah, Metro Redux did that,
and Saints Row also just this week.
Yeah, probably so.
I would like that because I would just be interested in getting Borderlands 2, to be quite honest. So, I don't know. I mean, if Borderlands 2 is maybe like $20 or something on the PlayStation Store, I'd much rather get it digitally.
Yeah, because, I mean, we have to play it because we got to play the DLC. Because, I mean, I've got the Platinum Borderlands 2. I'm kind of done with it outside of... I mean, other than the DLC, I would still go back and play, but I would just go play the DLC. I wouldn't play the main story again.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I mean, I want to restart again. It depends on the trophies to see what they do with it. Yeah. If it's separate, which I almost doubt.
Yeah, I doubt it. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm definitely getting it though. Just for the pre-sequel alone's worth it, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't played it, and I think a lot of people kind of skip it, waiting for this PS4 version.
And it's coming out late March.
Yeah, March 24th. So
a week after Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah, it's a week after Battlefield Hardline, and I think it's a week. Yeah, Hardline comes out the 17th. This comes out the 24th, so a week after. So that's gonna be interesting.
And then the same month right now, as Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Also coming out in March, we have something that's not really. I mean, it's PlayStation related, but it's not really a game. Sony announced that Powers is going to premiere March 10th on the PlayStation Store.
Don't worry, guys. We're not going to split this podcast into a whole Powers thing like the E3 deal that happened. But yeah, they just recently announced the date for Powers, and they also had the trailer that's been out for a while. I believe it was actually on the Equalizer Blu-ray. They attached the Powers trailer and all that. Yeah, it definitely looks like a mature show. I've always have stated this, that I would have, even though I've always been fooled, but I still would have loved to see the show animated. But but that's just because the concept art was there for the longest time, and I thought the show was going to be an animation. But no, I'm actually being serious. I would have loved if this was like a Telltale game series or something like that. But we'll have to see. I mean, I'm not criticizing the show yet, but I'm interested to see what PlayStation's first offering in original programming is, because this has been a trend for a long time. And just about everyone that has churned out original programming has done some really good stuff. I mean, Amazon had a few bumps in the road before, but now they have even Golden Globe winning shows. So maybe it's Sony.
Out of what? Out of 20?
Oh, they have 20? Some good stuff. No, they have more than one, I would say. Not to derail this. They have more than one. But they have at least a couple. Not as many as Netflix.
They've done pilot season. They've done that pilot season like what 2-3 years now, and like out of those 2-3 years, only two shows,
about two,
one or two.
They turn out to be good. They turn out to be good.
Yeah.
But Sony needs to now try this. I hope Powers is this guinea pig where it's just going to be mediocre, and we'll wait until the next show and see what happens. Nope, they can't afford that. So, any news on the distribution? Is it going to be all the episodes at once?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. So here's a funny thing. Sony announced that it's coming out first. They're releasing the first 3 episodes on March 10th.
Oh, okay. There you go. The first 3.
And the first episode will be free to everyone, and episode 2 and 3 will be free to people with Plus. If you have Plus, episode 2 and 3 are free. If you don't have Plus, well, you should have Plus, but if you don't have Plus, then you have to buy them. And then after that initial week, they're going to put out 1 episode a week after that initial 3 episodes on the first week.
Okay, there you go. That's good. So basically a 3-hour season premiere we're getting. Well, how long are the episodes going to be each? 44, 50 minutes?
Probably.
That's what we guess. Or
probably an hour.
I don't know. Or how long are Breaking Bad episodes? Only sorry, guys, I never watched Breaking Bad. Wait, are these 22 minutes? Or
Breaking Bad has commercials. This doesn't. This won't have commercials. It's on PlayStation. So it depends on how they're. I mean, it's going to be, I guess, a full hour, because if you watch like Game of Thrones, it's still an hour even without commercials. It is the full hour.
I don't know. That's a good question. Have they never answered that? Is it going to be 40 minutes or 20 or?
It's going to probably be 50 to 60 minutes.
Really, each episode? Okay.
Because that's how long Game of Thrones is. Because that has no commercials, so it's like each episode's like 50, 60 minutes.
Well, that's Game of Thrones. We're talking about Powers here. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's still the same idea. It's a premium show with no commercials. Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm not comparing it to Game of Thrones. I just mean like as a premium show.
I suppose. I mean, not every premium show is 40 minutes.
Just about all of them are.
No,
early hour range.
What is it? The animated show that was on Netflix was only 22 minutes each.
Yeah.
So
most animated shows. I mean,
yeah. And like now down to the runtime, I want Powers to be 22 minutes. I want it to be animated and 22 minutes.
You just want a dark Incredibles. series.
Well, I mean, no, this is an interesting tidbit here, folks, that this is also one of the main influences, whether Brad Bird wants to deny it or not, of The Incredibles. This is actually one of them, actually. So this is going to be interesting to see. That and Watchmen. But Watchmen we would go on a whole tangent on. But yeah, it was those two it was those two comic works that really inspired The Incredibles, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably see it once the show comes. I mean, me personally, I've never read the comics, but like the concept alone is already enough. So it has potential.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, that's March 10th, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. It's coming soon. Okay,
coming soon. Moving along. Another thing. This one's hot off the press. It was announced today on Wednesday because we're recording.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited for this. Elder Scrolls Online finally has a release date on PS4 and Xbox One. It's coming June 9th, which is 1 year after the initial.
Yes, this is basically a 1 year delay.
Yeah, 1 year delay. But basically, they're doing the Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn thing, where they're basically kind of re-releasing as a new product.
I mean, whether or not it's actually going to be, we'll have to see. Basically, they're redoing their branding and image. That's
rebranding.
But
I guess
we don't know about the actual game itself. That's a whole nother problem.
Okay, fine. Maybe that was a little much, but yeah, because Realm Reborn was rebuilding the whole game. This is rebranding it. So
yeah, I mean, they had the new cutscene out today, but we're not sure if the game is gonna. I mean, yeah, of course it's gonna be retooled for new consoles, but for PS4 and Xbox One. But we're not sure if the actual game itself, because the game is in need of a major overhaul. There's no denying that. From everything we've seen from the message boards to YouTube videos and just user complaints, the game needed a major overhaul. And the game was somewhat of, I would say, is a flop from last year. So now with these revisions, maybe they can unflop this, similar to what Square Enix did with their MMO, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But this is a step, but this is not the full step yet. But until June comes around, we'll see how the actual game is. But yeah, this is something. This is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they already said it's going to have all the updates and stuff from the PC version up to that date.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's going to be there. And the big thing is they dropped the subscription. Like, there's going to be no subscription fee. You pay the $60, you buy the game, you go home and you play it. No subscription fee. Now, there will be a subscription option. Basically, the Plus version. I forget what they call it. The not Eco.
Kind of like DC Universe Online.
Plus. Yeah, where it's like a perk. You pay the $15 a month, and you'll get extra currency in your account every month, and you'll get access to like the DLC when it comes out. Any DLC that comes out, you'll get instant access to it.
Okay.
Just stuff like that. But it doesn't sound like anything too game breaking.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see.
Can't call for that because Elder Scrolls already has a bunch of problems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it now because I was excited when they initially announced it as, Elder Scrolls Online, MMO, you can play with people. But I was totally turned off by the whole monthly subscription. I just hate that. Like, I hate the idea of paying $6 for a game and then paying $50 a month to continually play it. Like, I'd be fine if it was like free to download, like it's free to initially download and then pay the $15 each month to keep playing it. But I hate the idea of paying $60 to initially buy it and then
that you don't see in the console space too much because
it's just
PC. It's fine, but for PS4 and Xbox One, we just don't really see that anymore. And I mean, whether or not I'm going to buy this, probably not. I mean, until I see the game is really ironed out. I mean, that's great that I don't have to pay $15 a month anymore, but I hope the game has actually been vastly improved from the PC version. I mean, to some people that were really playing the game, the subscription was the least of their problems. So whether ZeniMax or whatever the company that developed it, hopefully they really retool this game. I mean, that was a year delay, so it better not be a Drive Club situation in any way. The game better work when it comes out, so we'll have to see. I mean, I'm holding back until I hear some things on it. But
I mean, this is really sounding like Final Fantasy XIV, where it came out on PC, it just bombed, and then they delayed the PS4 version or PS3 version for a whole year, and then it came out and it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was still a different thing, but this is a step. I mean, we'll have to see what the actual game is.
Yeah.
The game. I mean, when you look at the original Final Fantasy 14 and A Realm Reborn, Reborn was definitely part of that title for a reason. So I want to see some gameplay and some actual things on Elder Scrolls Online. Hopefully, you get demos in soon.
There should be a beta because I mean, shoot, I signed up for that beta like a year ago. I signed up for that beta.
Oh, good. At least there's betas. So, no, actually, never mind. I mean, then that's a good sign that they're putting up betas.
Yeah. Yeah, I signed up for that beta like a year ago, so so hopefully they should be putting out beta details.
We need betas soon. And more of those technical tests.
Yeah, my brother's gonna be all over this game.
Oh,
he loves Elder Scrolls. He's probably gonna be all over this.
I mean, if they really haven't retooled it, I mean, don't really. He should kind of like tamper his expectations. I mean, if he's not Skyrim Online, then he is mistaken.
He's not that picky.
Okay.
He'll probably have fun. But I find it funny that like on the box art it says no subscription required. Like they had to advertise that.
They
like
really
on the
have
front,
to make that clear.
Like on the front, like no subscription required. Just buy it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean the fact that the game has online in the title and they probably couldn't have changed. They probably couldn't have changed the name. Man, they could have changed the name. So, I mean that had to be clear to people that maybe haven't heard about this now or gonna plan to maybe buy this in the future. That's a good selling point. So that needed to be on the box without a doubt.
And I mean, with the thing too is like you were saying was the like with PlayStation you need Plus now to play online.
Yes.
Like with games. Oh yeah. Well, some games because Sony did drop a thing where it's like, oh, if it's free to play, you don't need online because then obviously you'd have to be paying to play it. Well, that was the thing when they first announced Elder Scrolls Online. They said, no, you don't need Plus because they didn't want you to pay for Plus and pay the monthly subscription.
Ooh,
but they switched it now. So now because you're not paying a monthly fee, they said you will need Plus to play it.
Oh. Ooh.
So it's so they switched it around. But I think that's fine. Like I said, most people have Plus or they should have Plus.
Hey, it's not as bad as the original Xbox terms where you needed Xbox Live subscription to use Netflix and all the regular apps that you already pay subscriptions for. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you're saying though, like the idea of putting out a monthly subscription game like that on consoles is just crazy because I mean, there's so many other games that are like there's just so many other games that are online heavy, like MMO kind of thing, like Destiny or The Crew or soon to be The Division, whenever that comes out, and it's like you don't need to pay monthly for that.
Basically, it's optional. You want to know what those are called? Season passes. So
yeah, but even season passes just get you more DLC. It's just more to play.
And I said they're optional.
It's not.
But
they're optional. They're not going to keep you from playing.
Yeah.
Where this is like, oh no, if you don't pay the $50 a month, then you can't play it. But like I said, that model just wasn't going to work. I think on the consoles. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is working, but that's kind of a carryover from like the PS3 because it was on PS3 first, right? And then put it on PS4.
I mean, I don't really follow it too much, but I believe it's also on PS3 too. I think.
Yeah, I mean that's doing well, but that was kind of more of a what do they call it, built-in audience.
Yeah, and it did really well on. I mean, hell, people still play it on my friends list on PS4, so it's doing pretty well on PS4.
Yeah, that's kind of the one.
So there's a good space for MMOs on PS4, and
paid MMOs.
Yeah, and let's hope even after Elder Scrolls Online comes out, it gets a good deal of support after it comes out as well. Can't have it just come out and just get nothing because I don't know. There's been some games, they've had their home in PCs and then just they come out on consoles and they just get absolutely no support. Prime example, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It gets a bunch of patches on PC, but absolutely nothing on PS3. Granted, it's not an MMO, it's just a competitive multiplayer shooter, but, it just goes to show it gets absolutely nothing. But DC Universe Online and Final Fantasy get their fair share of patches and support on PS4 anyway, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, see, that was a game I was really excited for when they first announced it was DC Universe Online, but I really didn't want to pay that monthly fee. I didn't want to buy it for $60 and then pay the monthly fee.
Well, I mean, now it's free to play, but in order to get like any trophies, you have to basically pay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know how it all works because they've done it's free to play now, and then they said it was weird, like, oh, if you want trophies, you have to pay the premium fee or whatever, the premium subscription $50 a month. But then they said, oh no, you just have to buy something, like buy a DLC item or something, then you get the trophies. I don't know. They never made it. I don't know. They never made it really clear what you have to buy in order to be eligible for the trophies, because I mean, there's only like what 6 trophies on that list.
It's like maybe like a dozen. That's about it.
I mean, not now with the DLC, but I mean like the initial trophy list.
I don't know. It was pretty small.
Yeah, it was.
But they all took a while to get.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you still have some extra goal
to
playing. But yeah, it's like, and then I remember when we went free to play, I remember going to Walmart and they still had physical copies of DC Universe at the store, and I'm like, what happens if you buy one of those now? Like, what happens now? Does it just load into the server? I guess the same way, or do you have to download it?
Ooh, it might be like defective copies.
Defective copies.
I mean, like Mag. I mean, you can't buy Mag in the store anymore. I mean, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I mean, because it's free to play, would you have to download it, or can your disc just merge with the servers, like still connect to the same servers? You know, because it's a different model. And I mean, and because you're playing on a physical disc, does that give you some kind of discount? Because hey, I bought a physical disc.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really seen anything like directly benefit to the store since like PlayStation All-Stars, where you put in the disc and it actually recognizes something from the store.
I don't know. As you can tell, we don't follow MMOs too well because we're just sitting here guessing on how all this stuff works.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, stuff for Elder Scrolls Online, I've just done research like on forums and YouTube videos and stuff, but I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online. So, yeah,
that's something. We'll see. Like I said, Elder Scrolls Online, I'm excited. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, hopefully
that comes out June 9th, so it's in the summertime.
Yeah, that's good. Not much is really going to be in the month of June.
Well, no. There's kind of one big game coming out in June for sure.
What do we got?
You don't know what it is?
Is it The Witcher?
No, that comes out in May. What big game comes out in June? Think about it. You know this.
In June. Is it first party? No, or third?
No.
Third party? Then.
Come on now.
This
is gonna turn into one of those like little kid shows. Like if people are listening, hollering at the monitor, what the answer is, and it's like, why aren't you hearing us?
In June.
Dude, come on, man.
It's got to be some Lego game.
No, it's very obvious. It's one of the biggest games coming out this year, and it comes out in June.
Oh, Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Knight. Well, sorry. It's just, it's been in the back of my mind now, I mean, even as much as I've been excited for the game, it feels so long.
It's just so far away.
It is. I know. It's that far away that I even forgot the release date.
Yeah. Plus, there's also those rumors that like Metal Gear Solid 5 is coming out in June.
We'll have to see about that. We don't know about that yet.
See about that. Yeah, we don't know about that. That's not official. But Batman is officially coming out in June. In fact, it comes out the week after Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, for sure, everybody's going to be dropping that and playing freaking Batman Arkham Knight. That game's going to sell awesome. Yeah. Like awesome.
Yeah. It's going to sell awesome. This Batman. But, yeah. All right. So yeah, let's see. Move on to another item here. Okay, this one's kind of interesting, and it kind of leads to many great discussions online. So Naughty Dog said this past week that Uncharted 4 is currently running at 30 frames per second.
Oh yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, and they said the demo, not the E3 demo, the
PSX demo.
Event? Yeah, PSX demo was locked 30 frames per second, and Naughty Dog said that they're shooting for 60 frames per second, but they said this week that if reaching 60 frames per second has to make them cut back anything else in the game, they're not going to do it. They're going to release the game at 30 frames per second. And I mean, this always leads to the big discussion of 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I mean, that's the obvious thing. I mean, if it's going to hurt the game, release at 30 frames per second, right? If it's going to, if they have to cut something back.
Or I hope just possibility it's like a stable 30 frames per second. I don't want it to really fluctuate like Infamous Second Son or anything like that. Yeah. This is a tough one. I mean, we'll just have to see. Yeah, like we said right now, I mean, it's just at its current state, it's still in that demo form or even alpha form. So I'm not really sure. I mean, Last of Us was just fine at 60. I mean, doubtful they had to cut anything back for that. Ran so good.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not gonna. Because I mean, obviously there is a difference between 30 and 60 frames per second. So if anybody tells you there's yeah, there is a difference. Like, yeah, like no, because there's some people out there that like say, oh, there's no difference between 30 and 60 frames per second. I'm like, yes, there is. There is a directly difference. You can see it right away. Just like there's some people that still tell me, oh, there's no difference between Blu-ray and DVD. I'm like, bull. Cool. Yeah, it's that's some BS. Plug in our own title there. But yeah, I mean, there is totally a difference between Blu-ray and DVD. There is a difference between high definition and standard definition, and there's a difference between the 4K and the regular definition. So people don't say that. Yeah, there is a difference. It's just those things where you have to see it for yourself,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those things where I do like 60 frames per second. I like it when I see it, but I don't think every game has to be a 60 frames per second.
No. Because I mean, as much as I was annoyed with Infamous kind of fluctuating, I'm glad that they patched in the lock, and I mean that game ran just fine. I mean, I like shooters like Call of Duty running at 60. That's always a given. I mean that's an important thing to have for shooters to run as good as they can be. We have The Order coming next month. I believe that game runs at 30.
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, it's just a matter of perception. But I mean, we're just gonna have to see more in Uncharted. Hopefully, once E3 rolls around, and maybe just get a little update on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you played a lot of The Last of Us Remastered. Like, did it like really feel like it made a difference to you playing it at 60 frames per second?
Yeah, I played a chapter of it in 30, and then a chapter at 60, and I really liked it at 60 a lot. It made a big difference. I think a lot of people will agree with me that it also made a big difference for multiplayer's sake. And this is actually a big deal why Naughty Dog actually really needs to work on this. Because I think it'll actually make a really huge difference for multiplayer. I mean, yeah, Uncharted in the past has run at 30. And yeah, the shooting was just fine. But for multiplayer's sake, I would actually really like it to run at 60. I think at this point it almost needs to. Because you're already going to have the graphics downgraded anyways for multiplayer, so I mean, if maybe the campaign could be at 30, and then maybe can they also get the multiplayer maybe to run at 60, because you're not going to have as many things going on. Yes, you're going to have people connected, but I mean, yeah, the maps are probably going to not look as great as they did in the single player. So I would hopefully they aim for 60 in multiplayer, because I don't want people to overlook the multiplayer in Uncharted. Yes, it's been confirmed, and that's a given. I'm really interested actually to see just as much as the single player. No multiplayer, because as great as the single player is going to be, that's only going to be like a 12 to maybe 15-hour ride. And yeah, we're going to play it probably multiple times to get the platinum, but that's great. But we had both this problem of the lasting appeal of like Uncharted 3's multiplayer, and I hope they retool it in Uncharted 4 where it could be something that you really want to play, because by the time the game comes out, we're already going to have a slew of multiplayer games to play. We're already going to have the next Call of Duty is going to come out, Battlefield Hardline, Elder Scrolls Online. It's going to be crazy. So it has to have something that will stick out, so then people can stay there and have a community and stuff, because there's a community in Last of Us multiplayer. There's still a lot of people that play that online on the remastered version. It's very good, and with it running at 60, that's a huge benefit, because I've talked to people who have played Last of Us on PS3, and they just couldn't deal with the multiplayer, just the way it ran. And then people played on PS4, and myself included, and I was just like, this runs so much better. This is so much better to play it here on PS4 as opposed to PS3.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, well, either Naughty Dog just shoots for 30, and that's fine, absolutely compromise nothing, and then get 60 for multiplayer, because don't overlook multiplayer, guys, and it's going to be a big deal, because Naughty Dog has a whole separate team working on multiplayer, and they're cooking up something probably really good.
Yeah, because I mean that's what Killzone Shadowfall did, that where the single player was 30 frames per second, but the multiplayer was 60 frames per second. So I mean, so Naughty Dog could probably do that.
Yeah, that's what I would like. That's best case scenario, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, and this always leads to a big argument online, the whole 30 and 60 frame argument. But I mean, it's weird. Like, a lot of people are like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm saying here, like, I prefer 60 frames per second, but ultimately, I'm okay with it being at 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
But it's not wrong to be mad, I think, to hear that a game's not 60 frames per second, because I mean, that's kind of the core of the argument, is that, oh, these are the new consoles. Why can't they run a game at 1080p, 60 frames per second? You know. So I mean, I don't think they're necessarily wrong in being kind of mad or disappointed when they hear that's not 60 frames per second. I mean that's what you kind of want out of these new consoles. But my thing back to that is, I mean, still, like I said, we're still in year. Well, I mean, now we're starting the second year of the new consoles. You know, last year was the first full year. We're starting the second full year, and I mean, developers are still, you know, working and trying to reach that full, you know, potential of these consoles. Because I mean, we've seen with the PS3. Oh yeah, I mean, we saw what the PS3 can do at launch, and compare that to what it can do at the end. You know, running games like Last of Us, and you know, that wasn't 60 frames per second or 1080p, but I mean, it's still a great visual.
Yeah, we had Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto 5, and BioShock Infinite. Those are like the three pillars. I think they took full advantage of the hardware to the fullest potential. Those three games, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, none of those are like 60 frames per second, 1080p or whatever. But
no, I
just mean like in the sense that they're. I mean, but I just mean the sense that they're like really understanding the console and getting the most out of it. You know, towards the end of the life cycle, and that's kind of like what it'll probably be with these new systems, where like we're still in the first few years where some games are 60 frames per second, some are 30, but we'll probably get to that point where it'll feel more like the standard, where it'll be like 1080p 60 frames per second. Because I mean, pretty much every game that's been put out on PS4 has been 1080p at least.
That's a given. But whether or not how many frames it runs in, that's a different story.
That's the variable. But 1080p is usually the lock. I mean, there's a few exceptions to it on PS4, the 1080p thing, but most PS4 games are 1080p, and then you know, it's either or when it comes to the frame rate. But like I said, I think we'll probably be seeing that maybe towards the end of this year, going into next year, more games probably, you know, hitting the 60 frames and 1080p standard. So, yep. So that's our stance on that, the frame rate. Okay, I guess we can move to the next item. Now this is the bigger one because it's kind of like a list.
Okay.
So, let's see. Let me pull it up. I gotta pull up the list in a separate window. Okay, so they put out the list this past week on the top 10 selling games this year.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There's some doozies in here.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind, there's a couple of variables here. One, the big one is that this is retail, right?
Yes, retail only. No digital sales.
No digital. No digital sales.
Digital sales are out of here. I think this would definitely change. But yes, this is only retail only.
Retail ones. So this is retail, and then they do the platform thing. Now I'll go from 10 to 1. Lowest, you know, I'll count down. Okay.
Yeah.
Go through this kind of quick. Okay, so number 10 was Call of Duty Ghosts, despite the fact the game's been out for over a year. It was still the number 10th best-selling game this year. Yeah, well, Call of Duty always does that. Number 9 was FIFA 15.
Okay.
Number 8 was Watch Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 was NBA 2K15.
Wow.
Number 6 was Super Smash Brothers. Number 5 was Minecraft. Number 4 was Grand Theft Auto 5. Another one that's been out over a year and still hit it, but that's, you know, because the new system.
There was a remaster version.
It's a remaster, but we're gonna get to that in 1 second. Number 3 was Destiny. Number 2 was Madden NFL 15.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Wow, Call of Duty is still a reigning champ.
Oh yeah. Now, the list itself isn't too surprising. I mean, it's mostly, you know, the big ones.
Still reigning high.
Yeah, sports always do big, and then of course Call of Duty always does big. The only one that really stands out to me as far as like, oh, it made the top 10 was like Watch Dogs did really well.
I mean, when Watch Dogs first came out, I mean, it had broke the news, like it held the record before Destiny did. I mean, it was like the biggest selling new IP.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was until Destiny took over that title.
Yeah, the Destiny's number 3. But yeah, Watch Dogs was number 8. That kind of surprised me a bit, but
and Destiny at number 3 is pretty good for a new IP.
Mm-hmm. What's most surprising though is the consoles. It tells you which console each game sold best on.
Yeah,
that's kind of the surprising part about this list. So let's kind of look at this. Okay, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, best selling console was 360.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, the best selling version of it was the 360 version. So yeah, last gen still holding in for Call of Duty.
The one that your studio, High Moon Studios, developed. See, they had to do it for a reason.
Yeah.
Get those sales.
Yeah, as long as it's at least a new Transformer game.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh man, High Moon. I just want that new Transformers. Second most was Xbox One. And then PS4. PS4 was third best selling console for Advanced Warfare.
That isn't too much of a surprise. I mean, you associate Xbox with Call of Duty, so it's always been like that. But I think the fact that it sold most on 360 is quite surprising. So whether that indicates still that this Call of Duty this year will come out on PS3 and Xbox 360 almost sounds like a guarantee.
Yeah.
Get High Moon again.
Oh yeah. And then Madden sold best on 360. But the second one was PS4. Actually sold second best on PS4.
Wow.
Then Xbox One, then PS3.
I'm surprised because Madden had an Xbox One bundle. But I don't know if that accounts for it. I mean,
Grand Theft Auto 5 sold best on PS4 this year.
That's awesome.
Because it's the remaster. Then Xbox One, then 360, then PS3.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Because, I mean, Grand Theft Auto is one I think most people associate with PlayStation. Plus, it was heavily
because they had the bundle. And then
PS4,
the
bundle.
Like I said, all the trailers that they always kept showing for it always ran on PS4. Which was, and then Sony had that uppercut with the revealing of it at E3. That I thought helped sales.
This one's a little surprising when you think about it. Okay, Minecraft sold best on 360 this year.
Yeah. You also have the physical copies.
Yeah, but you gotta think that's kind of weird. I mean, how long has Minecraft been on 360? Like what?
Couple
3 years? 2. Yeah. And I mean, it just now hit PS3 and PS4 and Xbox One. You think those would be selling more because people don't have it on those consoles?
I mean, it just barely came out on PS4 last year. I mean, it came out in November of last year.
I guess so. If you think,
but I mean, Advanced Warfare just barely came out in November.
Yeah.
It was the number one. But I mean, this is different. I mean, Minecraft was already a game that was already been out for a long time, and you probably just didn't have that many people upgrade to the PS4 version yet, or bought the PS4 version. And it's also on Vita, so yeah.
Well, they don't even have the Vita listed here. It just goes 360, PS3, Xbox One, then PS4.
You think any Vita game?
Yeah, there actually is. There's one FIFA. They list the Vita version.
They listed the Vita version as being one.
It was the last one because if you look at FIFA, because FIFA's surprising too. FIFA, the best one was 360, the best selling version of that game. Which is kind of, I mean, well, didn't they do a big promotion with it this year, FIFA and 360?
Well, I mean, there was the World Cup last year.
Maybe.
I suppose. I mean, they probably had bundles. Well, wait a minute. On Xbox One, in some territories, it was free.
Oh, so maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Because on FIFA, it goes 360, then PS4, then Xbox One, then PS3, then Wii. They actually made a Wii version. Not a Wii U, but a Wii version.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Then 3DS, then Vita.
Oh, wow. Vita was the absolute last.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Let's see. A couple other ones where PS4 came first was NBA 2K15. PS4 was the best-selling one on that.
Yeah, they really game. Pushed that one hard on PlayStation, especially. They had ads for it. Yeah, that's
Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was PS4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Best-selling version. Now, here's the biggest surprise of the whole list for me.
The biggest surprise?
What do you think was the best-selling version of Destiny?
Xbox One.
It was Xbox One.
Yeah,
not
because
PS4.
PS4 they had the bundle.
Well, yeah, I guess they do have the bundle because that's what I was trying to get at. Like, why did it sell best on Xbox One?
Because of retail copies that were sold on Xbox One.
Yeah, retail copies were sold on Xbox One, and because I mean, it's just the thing is, it was just surprising to see that because Destiny was so heavily advertised as a PS4 game,
Yeah,
and
but,
we saw it. It worked for these other games. We saw like Watch Dogs sold best on PS4, NBA sold best on PS4, Grand Theft Auto 5 sold best on PS4 because they were advertised as PS4 games. But Destiny was the biggest marketing push of the year, and it was on PS4 marketed, and yet it still, according to this list, wasn't the best-selling version of it.
I think just to me, then a lot of people bought Destiny digitally.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking after I saw this was probably.
Like I would have said, because since Destiny is the #1 selling digital game on PS4 last year, then I bet if you took all those numbers and just basically churned them out to be physical copies into retail, then it probably would have outsold the Xbox One version.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it was, the digital copies. Because, and that's the thing, like, if you bought the Destiny bundle, it came with a physical copy of the game, so...
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a digital code or
whatever.
It
wasn't a digital code. But they don't take that into account, though.
Yeah. Wait, do they count?
No,
do they count bundle sales?
Bundles, no. Mm-hmm.
They don't count bundles?
Mm. No. So bundles and the digital sales. So
because I only took a screenshot of the list. So I don't have the rest of the text on there that explains the rest of the rules. It only because I know they don't do digital. That's like the one rule I know they don't take into effect digital, but I didn't know about bundles.
No, they don't take account on bundles.
Mm.
But even though I said Madden had its Xbox One thing, but no, they really pushed that game for Xbox One, Madden, and all that stuff. So.
But actually, the PS4 version of Madden sold better than the Xbox One version of Madden.
Well, there you go. Same case scenario. There were Xbox One bundles of Madden.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it was. It's probably these bundles and digital sales kind of skewing the data a bit.
Yeah, that's for sure. If you have the top selling games of their digital stores #1, then that's a big factor.
Yeah, because I don't know. That just surprised me initially when I saw Xbox One. I was like, really? Because it was PS4, because of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And then, like I said, that was the one that surprised me. And then, like I said, Minecraft, because the 360 version's been out for so long, you think, And then Smash Brothers sold best on 3DS, so we were all wrong. I don't know. Well, not wrong. A lot of people expected that, but I always assumed, if I had a Wii U and a 3DS, I would buy the Wii U version first. But, no.
Oh, no. Well, the 3DS has a larger install base. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if I had both, I would have got it on Wii U.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yep.
Now, do you have the top selling games on the PlayStation Store?
I don't have that list.
Oh, well, that's okay.
I just did the ones for the year because it covered everything. I kind of thought it'd be more interesting that way. Unless you have it.
No.
No, you don't have it. Okay.
Well, since we have just a few minutes, what have you been playing this past week?
What have I been playing this past week? Oh, this is funny. So this past week I've been playing. I went on PS3. I was on my PS3, and I don't know why. I don't know if it did this for everybody, but for me, when I click my download list on PS3, all the Plus games are at the top of the list. I don't know if it does that for everybody, but I went to my download list, clicked it, and it showed all the Plus games were out on top. Throughout the past year or so, all of them were at the top of my download list. Just the Plus games were at the top. So I was just scrolling through because a lot of times I've been just adding Plus games to my download list without even really thinking about what they are. Oh, it's free. I got to put it in my list, Mm-hmm. And so I was scrolling through to see, and I saw one of the Magic the Gathering games was free with PlayStation Plus.
Oh, really?
A while back, a while back they did one of the Magic games for free, and I added it to my download list, but I never downloaded and play it. Well, that's what I did this week. I downloaded and started playing because I have a friend who's really into Magic the Gathering, and he really wants me to get into it. So I was like, okay, I always told him I would try to get into it. And since now, oh look, a digital version that will teach me how to play the game is here for free. Yeah, so I've been doing all week. I've been playing Magic the Gathering, the PS3 one, just learning how to play it and all that. I don't know what year. I don't know. It's probably an old version. It doesn't have the year on it. It just says Magic the Gathering. Because I know the newer ones are 2012, 2013, 2014, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, but we don't really have any confirmation of whether or not Magic the Gathering is coming at all on PS4. So we're not really sure about that yet.
Well, I heard the 2015 version wasn't that good anyway.
Ooh.
Well, mostly because it took the whole
Magic the Gathering fans here.
Well, that's what everybody said. The 2015 version was like free to play, and like you had to buy like everything in that game. Like you had to like literally pay $2 to buy a pack of cards in the game.
Sounds like a NHL situation with the remove features, and you got to pay for them.
Yeah, and because that was the big thing. Like, well, I'm playing the one I'm playing right now. It's like, you know, it's all pre-made decks. Like, you just pick your deck and you play with it, and you can unlock more cards that just add to that deck. Yeah. But you can't really like make your own deck. And that was the big thing for 2015 was, oh, you can make your own deck from scratch. You can pick every card to go in the deck. And that was a big deal. But the only problem is that led to a lot of microtransactions. Like, oh, pay $1.99 and you can buy a new pack of cards, and we'll give you 8 random cards.
That's ridiculous.
And buy this pack, and it just became too much, and it just became a big investment. And everybody's like, if I was willing to pay this much, I would go play the real game and not play the digital one.
In real life. Whether or not you have friends to play it with, that's a different story, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing this week is the Magic the Gathering on PS3. So, what you been playing?
Not really much. I mean, I have school starting back up, and honestly, I've just been on my PS4 just like watching highlight episodes of like Parks and Recreation because that show is ending soon, and it's such a great show. I love it so much. I'm so sad that it's ending already.
I've seen like maybe 5 episodes total of it.
It's a fantastic show.
And they're like random too. Like I saw maybe like 2 episodes from season 1 and like maybe 2 episodes the other day from season 3.
Well, I mean, you can watch like the first 5 seasons, I believe, on Amazon Prime or Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah,
it's a fantastic show.
Maybe I'll just wait till it's all on Netflix and I can just watch it all in one thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, the movie, not the movie. The show's not on Blu-ray in any form at all. Like they never released any of the seasons on Blu-ray. Maybe they're waiting for the whole series, and they're not gonna have like, and Sons of Anarchy. I don't want to say that, but yeah, fantastic show. I mean, I perused at GameStop and purchased Wolf Among Us Vita used, and then I played it for like 2 days, and then turned it back in for a full refund. But I am going to agree with you. That game runs really well on the Vita. It runs much better than The Walking Dead Season 2 on the Vita, where it ran like a slideshow at times. But Wolf Among Us runs so much better. Only thing I'm going to really criticize it for is that those load times, man. Some of those load times are ridiculous. Yeah, like especially when it transitions from like different scenes. I think one of them was like 30 seconds or something. I'm like, oh my god. But I mean, it looks good. That's the key thing. It looks up to par. Unlike Walking Dead. Walking Dead, there was definitely a graphical downgrade. But yeah, I mean, I'm not blaming you for experiencing that first on the Vita. It looks just up to par. No biggie.
But in those 2 days, you got the platinum in it, right? Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's good.
Fantastic game.
Because with Wolf Among Us, you got to put a little bit more effort into it to get the platinum than you do with.
But after that, Dead. I mean, there are some of the Book of Fables that you could actually get if you know what you're doing. You could actually get them in the first go through. I think I only had to go back to 2 episodes to get the rest, and I already memorized where they're at. So by then, you would already kind of know if you played it for one time at least. But yeah, there's at least a little bit more effort required than other Telltale games, which just require you to play the game. And then maybe as a small tidbit here, the second episode of Game of Thrones trailer is coming out tomorrow, so presumably Game of Thrones is coming next week. Which
that's usually what Telltale does.
I'm going to disagree with you. If these episodes are coming out the rate that they are, then maybe possibly it could finish by the time the next season of the show, but it's doubtful.
We talked about this outside the podcast, but like that's what I always assumed is that they were going to try to, line up these episodes to where they come out in time for the season 5 premiere. But season 5 doesn't start till April, so Telltale would really have to hurry and get these out if they want all 6 episodes out by April.
Yeah, exactly. I know, like really crunch it.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds crazy, considering Telltale's schedule, but I mean, HBO is like funding this game, so you would think, they would want it to line up and, be done in time for the show, or at least have the final episode be the same month as the show, or at least maybe 1 month after the show has already started.
Right. It's also interesting to note that, I mean, even though this is 6 episodes, so maybe the episodes will maybe come a bit quicker, this actually is coming out before the second episode of Borderlands, which the first episode of Borderlands came out first.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like I said, I think Yeah, but like I said, I think Game of Thrones really is their priority because, like I said, HBO is like funding this and saying, "Hey, get this out."
Like
you know,
Borderlands.
I know, but at least you got the collection doesn't come out till March. By March, we should have the second episode, right?
Yeah. Knowing Telltale, I mean, thank the heavens that they're getting this episode. I'm gonna be happy that the second episode of Game of Thrones is coming out. Okay, I mean.
Yeah.
Wolf Among Us was bad. It was really bad. I mean, you had the first episode come out in late October, and then you don't have the next episode till mid-February.
Yeah.
And yes, Telltale's living to their promise. They're not doing this again, which is good. But they have a second series running on right now, so yeah. And then development of season 3 is just right now, but I mean, it's probably just story. So probably we'll hear an announcement of Walking Dead later this year. So maybe we might possibly get the first episode of season 3 this year, possibly. But to me, that's kind of doubtful. Actually, we might get the first episode in 2016. But yeah, interesting stuff there from Telltale. Yeah, that's about it.
About it. Nothing else.
Nothing else I can think of at the moment other than everyone have an awesome week.
Yeah. Well, okay. That can lead us to a wrap up. So, all right. So we're getting to the end. This is the end of our second episode of the PSBS, the PlayStation Bull Session. Like I said, we went over some good stuff today. I feel we had a good episode here. A lot of good content. Once again, before we go out, I just want to once again thank PlayStationLifestyle.net and Morningwood for that great episode they did last week. I really appreciate the advice and hearing some positive encouragement of doing something like this. Doing a new podcast and a new kind of outlet of PlayStation content. Encouraging that. That's what we love to see. We love to see other websites or whatever encouraging other people to go out and do things. So that was really great. So yeah, I guess it's time for the wrap up. So, yep, like I said, this is the PSBS, the PlayStation Bull Session. This is the end of your second episode. I'm your host, Cote, PSN bayouboyz, and my host here.
I'm Andrew. Doublies.
Yeah. So, have a good week. We'll be back next week with some more stuff, and maybe a new Quantic Dream game will be announced next week that we can talk about. We'll see.
I don't know.
Because because I don't know if you saw that. There's like a counter that says 7 days. They're gonna have some announcement in 7 days. So
Beyond Two Souls remastered on PS4.
Maybe we'll see. Tune in next week. Well, you already know next week, but you can hear us talk about it next week.
Yeah, big deal.
Unless you put yourself in like a media outlet. It's like, no, I want PSBS to give me the news on Quantic Dream's new game.
Oh no, we don't have any of those details.
No. We don't have exclusive, but I mean, like, they just media blackout. They don't check any websites. They're like, no, I'm going to wait till PSBS to tell me it.
Oh. Well, then in that case, I'll be flattered.
Yeah, that's a hardcore fan right there. So, and one more thing before we go. Just another quick little thing. Like I said, we are taking viewer mail. You can
yes, I've already gotten a couple, but from PSN, but I do not have them. I have 2 of them so far, but people keep on sending some. I've already gotten a couple, and they're pretty good.
So yeah, we're gonna have some viewer mail next week. But if you want to send your own, you can message us directly at bayouboyz on PSN or doublies on PSN. You can message me directly on YouTube.
Easy.
And actually, yes, easy. And we now have a Facebook fan page that I will link in the description, so you guys can go to that. We'll have all our episodes in one little spot for you to quickly and easily see. You can like us or whatever. You can message us on the fan page. Also, if you want to do a direct, if you want to do like another fan message thing or whatever. So I think that's it. I think I covered all the bases as far as like how to contact us for like a question or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I think we can finally get to the
enough housekeeping.
Enough housekeeping. Yeah, try to get that out of the way. So yeah. All right. So this is PSBS signing off, saying have a good week, and we'll see you guys next week, hopefully. So, are you ready? Click.